had a lot of success everywhere you've been. You've been coaching a long time. What's the real basic reasons, couple of reasons for your success during your career?
Well, I don't really know. I think if I knew all those answers, I'd probably write a book. But I want to be known that I was fair with all the guys. I like the consistency of the way we've been. We wasn't and what I mean by that, we wasn't a one-year wonder, where we have a great team and then all of a sudden we fall off the face of the earth again. We've been consistent. We were like that at Murphy. We were like that at Shaw, and we've been like that at UMS. So, my philosophy is always beat the people you're supposed to beat, and the rest of them will take care of themselves. You can't get too high, and you see it all the time. You watch those games every week. There'll be a big upset, and you say, well, man, this team must be really good. But then they can't accept that big upset and that big win against a team that's probably better. If it's an upset, the other team must have been better than they were. And then the next week they go and lose to somebody they should have beat. So my thing has always been to be consistent, to stay on the top. You beat the people you're supposed to, and then you let the big games take care of themselves. And then just be fair with the guys and treat them all the same. And we practice tough, and we expect them to play tough, and we're going to try to run the football.
That's great. You've got some kind of a mixed bag of returners, about half and half on offense and defense in terms of starters, although we just heard you may have lost a couple more people. You've got some real talent coming back, and you're running back and quarterback. But what's the plan to fill those other starter roles that you have to refill from last year?
Well, but between us, and I really didn't even say it out there, it's always great to have your running back back, and it's always great to have your quarterback back. And I'm an offensive guy, but I do know if you can't stop people, and that was my biggest problem with our team last year with our defense. We beat some people, even in the first round of the playoffs. We won 49-42. I do know you've got to put your players over there because you're going to play people that are going to play good defense, and you're not going to score 50 points every game. So, our key is we've got to find a safety, and we've got to find a nose guard. I think everywhere else we're going to be okay, but on defense, and I think that's going to be the key to our whole team. Our whole team is how much better we can start this year and not giving up big plays. And our safety is a big part of that. I mean, he made a bunch of tackles that if he wouldn't have made them, that'd have been touchdowns. And on offense, like I said, we got to find 2 or 3 offensive linemen. I think we're gonna be okay at wide receiver. We're okay in the backfield, but we've got to have 2 or 3 linemen. And you like to have, if anybody's experienced, you want to be an offensive lineman. There's nothing better. I don't care what level you play, high school, college. You've seen it at Alabama, Auburn. It's nothing better to have than to have an experienced offensive line who's seen it all. And so how quick those guys grow up and get on blocks is going to be big. And like we said in there's going to be some sophomores and some freshmen that's going to happen. That always scares you.
So there's some opportunity there for the guys that are listening to this show. Something that I've often wondered about, I'm glad I got a chance to ask you this question. You guys opened the season, it seems like every year that I can remember, against McGill. I mean, the kids just mentioned that your players about wanting to beat McGill for the first time. Why do you guys choose to open against such a tough opponent every year?
Well, they hadn't always been that tough. We've been playing them now, I think, 7 or 8 years, and we've beaten them 2 or 3 times. They've beaten us 2 or 3 times. Just in the last 2 or 3, 4 years have they gotten this good. And but we like to play up. We like to play tough competition because I want to find out early and quick about what we got, how tough we are, how we compete. Yeah, you'd like to win the game, but that's not necessarily in that game the most important thing to me. I want to see who we're going to have. And it's amazing. You go back and watch our film late in the season of that first game, and there's a lot of people that are not even on the field, that were on the field in that first game, or they're in different positions than they were in that first game. And I think that's very important. I have had teams that we play 5, 6, 7 games and still not know if we were any good. and play McGill, you're going to know real quick where you need to improve, what you need to do better, where you got to go to do that. And I think that says a lot, because I also get asked the question is, when we get in the playoffs, why are we always so good in the playoffs? We've been to the third round 13 out of 14 years at UMS. And I think a lot of that has to do with the schedule that we play during the regular season, prepares us. And our goal is to be playing week 15, not necessarily win week 1.
Well, that makes great sense. I got one final question. As AHSAA rules have changed over the last few years, you guys have moved into 4A, and that's meant more travel, more road time for your team and your fans. And what impact have you seen from that, if any, on your football program? Well,
we travel well, and we've gotten some great rivalries with Thomasville and Andalusias and those people. Some years the region's pretty tough. Some years it's not quite as good. And I again think that's why the non-region games are so important, because sometimes the region is not that tough. And but you know, counting being a private school and counting our guys 1.35, you know, we're really a small 4A, and we've accepted that. And you know, I think we're right in the league we need to be in. And you know, we have some tough games, and it's not like we win every game.
That was Coach Terry Curtis from UMS. Thanks a bunch, Coach Curtis.